When I went to title school, one of the most important things I learned was about how to set up POAs to work better in creative finance transactions. You see, when I got there, I'm the only person who paid to be there who did not have continuing education credits to get racked up. And I got there and I'm used to sitting in the front row because I go to conferences to learn. And I'm at this conference sitting alone for 5 rows back. I'm like the one dude in the front row. And I'm like, question, yep, I got a question on that. How does that work? The speakers afterward were like, hey, thank you for engaging. It's nice to have someone to communicate back and forth with, which I can identify with as a speaker. It's nice to have an interactive audience and engage with people. So anyway, everybody else is there for continuing education, which is fine. There's no problem with that, but they weren't as engaged as me. They also had been to those before and knew a lot of the same stuff that I didn't, that I was there to learn. So back on the power of attorney. One of the things I learned about power of attorney is that they're going to want spouses to co-sign. And now I took it from the underwriters. Technically and legally, your power of attorney may be just fine. However, for functional use and the automatic summary defeat of any challenges, the insurance underwriters are like, I don't want to take one that's not co-signed by a spouse. And so I said, what about a separate POA from each spouse to the same party? If you're following along, so I'm going to buy your house, and the husband and wife are both going to give me a power of attorney separately. Individually, they're giving me one. For the same property, they're like, no, not good enough for me. Technically, yes, it's a valid POA, but I'm not good enough for me. I'm not going to insure it. I don't want to have to deal with that. Now, that's the actual insurance underwriter who goes to court and sees claims and has to defend those things in court. So I'll take it from the horse's mouth that it's not something worthwhile. Meanwhile, I've done plenty of transactions with title reps who don't question that. If they took that question to their underwriters, the underwriters would say, nope, don't do that. It needs to be co-signed by the spouse. So there's one big takeaway. I was aware that powers of attorney can be recorded. However, it is law that they be recorded in order to be enforceable on real property in certain states. So that was another really good takeaway. So my powers of attorney are better than anyone else's that I've seen because I've had attorney interactions. I've had interactions with underwriters, but getting on the inside at title school, that was the best because I got their unfiltered opinions. I wasn't across the table like the opposing side, like, come on, do this. And they're like, no, but they wouldn't explain why. I got to see it from the inside where they explained their reasoning why. And that was really beneficial for me. So we've got about 5 or 6, yeah, I've got them written down, 5 or 6 changes coming along to our POAs. And our POA is a couple of generations ahead of anybody else's that I've seen. A couple generations. And I'm telling you, a lot. Really big changes that we've made that other people have not. And we've got title companies that are using my power of attorney for real estate transactions. And even then, it's still not up to snuff for the insurance underwriters. And so I really appreciate being able to see that, chat with them. I gave them all a handshake and a thank you. They thanked me for interacting with them. And so we're making changes to our power of attorney. I've got it on my schedule this week. So next week we should be live and up to date with our powers of attorney. If you are a Creative TC client and you have a power of attorney dated before, I'd say February 17th, 2025, sorry. If your power of attorney is dated from before then, you can lean on our closing docs to require a new updated power of attorney for maximum effectiveness. And so if you're in good communication with if you don't need it, you don't need it. But when you need it, it needs to be done right. And so if you're in good communication with your sellers, the original borrowers, that's great. And you might leverage that and say, hey, we need an updated power of attorney. And there have been improvements and changes in laws and things like that that require these changes to be made. So please schedule a time with us to get that updated. So if you have that, if you have one from before February 17th, 2025, contact support@creativetc.io and we can help you get that. That is for Creative TC clients. If you didn't use Creative TC to close your deal, there's your lesson to come to us next time because we are continuously improving. We have been continuously improving. I'm just highlighting one event that I went to that resulted in a lot of changes to something that was already good. So what an opportunity to serve you guys and to be so much better at our craft. Great event. Title school, who would have known?